All right, let's just jump right into it. There's a viral article making the rounds that's basically sounding a huge alarm, saying that most of us are completely unprepared for what's coming with AI. And look, this isn't some far-off science fiction prediction. This is about a massive shift that's already happening, and it is moving way, way faster than almost anyone realizes.
I want you to do something for me. Just think back to, say, February of 2020. Everything felt pretty normal, right? The idea of the whole world shutting down, that seemed kind of crazy, like something out of a movie. And then, in just a matter of weeks, everything was different. Well, the argument we're digging into today is that we are in that exact same kind of moment right now with artificial intelligence.
And here it is. This is the quote from Matt Schumer that kicked this whole conversation off. His point is really simple, but it's powerful. A lot of us are looking at AI and kind of shrugging it off, thinking it's all a bit overhyped. But that's exactly what people were saying right before everything changed a few years ago. The argument is that this time, the transformation could be even bigger.
So why are the people who are actually building this stuff sounding the alarm so loudly? Well, this is the crucial part. For them, this isn't a forecast. They're not trying to predict the future. They're just describing what has already happened to their own jobs, and they're warning all of us that we're next.
This quote really makes it real, doesn't it? The CEO of an AI company is saying he doesn't even do the technical work anymore. He just describes what he wants built, in plain English. And a few hours later, poof, there it is. And get this, it's often better than what he could have built himself. That's not just a tool. That's the automation of high-level, creative thinking work.
And this is not a theory. These are real-world examples. Look at what one person was able to build in a single week using these new AI models. A whole suite of tools, a website that updates itself, a custom thumbnail generator. These are projects that just a little while ago would have taken a team of people weeks, maybe even months. Now it's a few hours and a couple of simple prompts. It's wild.
Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. Yeah, but I've used AI and it wasn't that great. It made mistakes, the code it wrote was kind of janky. And you know what? You're not wrong, if you're talking about the models from a year or two ago. But in AI time, that's ancient history. The models we have today are a totally different animal. They have something that really feels like judgment, like taste. So here's the bottom line. Basing your opinion of AI today on a free version you used last year is like saying smartphones will never catch on because you once used a flip phone.
Okay, so what is actually fueling this insane leap forward? How did this happen so fast? This isn't just a steady, predictable improvement. The engine driving all this is something our brains are just not built to understand very well. It's exponential growth.
Just look at this timeline. It's bonkers. In 2022, AI had trouble with simple multiplication. A year later, it's acing the bar exam. Then it's writing software that actually works. And then, just a few months ago, a whole new generation of models came out that made everything that came before look like a child's toy. This isn't progress. This is a rocket launch.
And if you want the cold, hard data, here it is. A research firm called Meter actually tracks how much work an AI can do on its own, measured by how long it would take a human expert. So back in 2022, the best AI could handle a 30-second test. A year later, it was up to 4 minutes. Okay, that's a big jump. But now look. We go from a few hours of work to over 17 hours of complex, continuous work. That jump is just staggering.
So if you take away just one thing from that chart, it's this. The capability of AI, the complexity of tasks it can handle, has been doubling consistently every 7 months. That trend has held true for years and is showing absolutely no signs of slowing down. In fact, it might be about to hit the accelerator.
So you might be thinking, okay, but surely this has to level off at some point, right? Well, here's the really mind-bending part. Most researchers think it's actually going to speed up. Why? Because we've entered a feedback loop. Smarter AIs are now writing the code that's used to build the next generation of even smarter AIs. It's this flywheel that's just starting to pick up some serious momentum.
And again, this isn't just a theory. This quote is from an actual OpenAI press release. The AI helped build itself, it debugged its own systems, it managed its own rollout. So this idea of an intelligence explosion isn't something that might happen one day. It's happening right now. Okay, so let's take a breath. If the technology is really accelerating this fast, what on earth does that mean for us? For our jobs, our economy, for society itself? The technology is here. Now we have to figure out how to deal with the shockwave.
Dario Amodei.
He's the CEO of Anthropic, one of the biggest AI labs, has been pretty direct about this. He predicts that AI could lead to unemployment between 10 and 20%. To put that into perspective, the last time we saw numbers like that was during the Great Depression. And as he says, I don't think this is on people's radar.
So why is this so different from, say, the Industrial Revolution? Well, back then, when machines automated manual labor, people moved into thinking jobs, office work, service jobs, things like that. But AI automates cognitive labor. It automates thinking. And that leads to a really fundamental question. What jobs are left? Where do people go next? There aren't a lot of easy answers this time.
To really get a sense of the scale of this, forget about jobs for a minute. Think about this thought experiment. What if tomorrow a new country just appeared on the map, and it's populated by 50 million super geniuses, all of them smarter than Einstein, and they all think 100 times faster than us? What would a national security advisor do? They'd probably call it the single greatest threat the world has ever faced. Well, that's the kind of scale we're talking about with super intelligence. Okay, now I know that all sounds pretty intense, but the point of this isn't to make you feel helpless. It's the opposite. The goal is to be prepared. So let's pivot away from the problem and start talking about the solution. What can you, personally, do right now to get ready for what's coming? It's also fair to say that not everyone agrees on the timeline. You've got skeptics who think this will be a much slower burn, maybe 5 to 10 years, more like how the internet rolled out. But then you have the insiders who are saying it's more like 1 to 2 years away. But here's the really important part. It almost doesn't matter who's right. Whether the storm hits in 2 years or 10, the things you need to start doing today are exactly the same. The urgency is there no matter what. So here's a super practical 4-step plan. First, start using AI seriously. That means getting off the free versions and paying for the pro accounts. Get the best tools. Second, make it do real work. Stop asking it trivia questions and start pushing it to build actual solutions to your problems. Third, just assume it can do it. Give it a task you're sure is too hard for it. You will be shocked. And fourth, become the guide. Be the person in your company, in your friend group, who gets this stuff. Right now, the biggest advantage you can possibly have is just being early.
And this is the other side of this whole thing. Yeah, it's a massive disruption, but it is also an absolutely unprecedented opportunity. Did you ever want to build an app but you don't know how to code? Start a company but have no idea where to begin? All of those barriers, they're just gone now. The barrier to entry for creating almost anything has just dropped to zero. You've basically been handed the best tutor and the most powerful creative tool in human history.
So we'll end with this. In this new world, the person who walks into a room and says, "Oh, that analysis that used to take us 3 days, I used AI to get it done in an hour," that is going to be the most valuable person in the room. Not in 5 years, right now, today. The only question left is, will that person be you?